Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video we're going to show you how to change out the LG dryer heater assembly. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new heater assembly. The heater assembly creates the heat in the dryer. The main reason you'd be changing it out is if it's failed and the dryer's not heating. In order to change the part, we have to go around to the back of the dryer. Now that we're on back, we're going to use a Phillips screwdriver to take out the 3 screws that hold the top on. Now that we have the screws out, we're going to pull the top back about 1.5 inches or so. We can lift it off and set it aside. Now we can take the control panel off. First thing we're going to do is take off this wiring harness right here from the control board. There's a locking tab on top. You just have to press on it to release it. Once you have the harness off, we're going to use the Phillips screwdriver to take out the 2 screws to hold the console on. Now we can take off the locking tabs. There's 3 of them that go across the top. We're just going to lift up on the frame and pull out. Once you have those released, then we're going to lift up on the right side of the control panel here. And then carefully pull the control panel out, making sure you don't hit the control board. Once you have it free, we're going to release this wiring harness from the holder. All you have to do is unclip it, pull the harness out. Once you have it released, you can set the console on top of the dryer. Now we can open up the door, and we're going to use the Phillips screwdriver to take out these 2 lower screws to hold the lint screen housing onto the front panel. Once you have them out, we can close the door. And then we're going to use the pliers to bend up this locking tab that holds the front panel on. We're just going to bend it up so it's out of the way. Then we can use the Phillips screwdriver to take out the screws that hold the front panel on. As you're taking the last screw out, you want to make sure you hold the front panel so it doesn't fall. Once you have the last screw out, we're going to drop the panel down a little bit and then unplug the wiring harness for the door switch. There's no locking tab or anything. All you have to do is grab it and unplug it. Once you have it free, you can drop the front panel down a little bit more and lift it off the lower mounting brackets. All you have to do is lift it off. Once you have it free, you can pull it off and set it aside. Now we're going to unplug the wiring harness from the light socket. It's up here on the upper left-hand corner of the dryer. There's a black wire in the front and a gray wire in the back. All you have to do is unplug it. Then we're going to take this bracket off. We're going to use a Phillips head screwdriver to take out the screws. Now we can take the metal bracket off. We're just going to get the console out of the way a little bit. And then lift up on the bracket, and pull it off. Once you have it off, we're going to kind of swing it out of the way. And then we have to remove this wiring harness from the holder. Once you have it released, we're going to carefully take everything and lean it over the edge of the dryer and set it out of the way. Now we can unplug the moisture sensor wiring harness. It's right here in the lower right-hand corner. All you have to do is reach in and press the locking tab and unplug it. Now we can use the Phillips screwdriver to take out the 4 screws that hold the bulkhead on. Now we can lift the bulkhead off. All you have to do is lift it up and pull it off the dryer. Once you have it free, you can set it aside. Now we can take the belt off the pulleys. We're just going to reach in and pull the idler towards the left side of the cabinet, and then unhook the belt from the pulleys. Once you have the belt off the pulleys, you can use the belt to lift up on the drum and guide it out of the dryer. Once you have it out, you can set it aside. Now that we have the drum out, we have access to the heater assembly. The new one comes as a complete assembly, so all we have to do is take some wires off. You can use a small flathead screwdriver to help you if they're on there tight. We're going to take off the yellow one on the bottom, and then the blue one in the middle. And then we're going to remove this wire, the big white one, from the wire harness holder. Then we're going to remove the small white wire and the red wire from the cycling thermostat. Then we're going to use a Phillips screwdriver and take out these two screws that hold the heater assembly to the support. To get the element out, we're going to lift up on the front and then pull the tab out in the back. Once you have it free, you can pull the heater assembly out of the dryer. Here's the old heater assembly next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at appliancepartspros.com. Now we can put the new heater assembly in. Just have to line it up and make sure the tab goes into the slot. And then as you rotate it down, you have to make sure it goes into the tubing and the tab doesn't come out. Once you have it in, you can lower it down. And then you want to get the front mounting bracket in. Just want to make sure that the tab comes through this little slot right here. Once you have it in, we can use the Phillips screwdriver to put the screws in. Now we can hook up the wires. First we're going to hook up the cycling thermostat wires. We had the red and the white one. The red one goes on the back terminal. And the white one goes on the opposite side on the top. Then we can route the wires from the heater. You just have to push them into these clips on the bottom of the dryer. Make sure they lock in. Then we can hook up the two front wires. Got the blue one that goes in the middle and the yellow one on the bottom. Once you have them both on, so you got a good connection, you can put the dryer back together. Now we can put the drum in. All you have to do is line it up with the cutouts in the cabinet, set it back onto the rear rollers. Once you have it in place, you can let the belt down. You want to make sure the grooves are towards the drum. Then we can route the belt through the pulleys. All you have to do is reach in and grab the idler pulley and pull it over towards the left. Then we can route the belt through the pulleys. Now we can put the bulkhead on. Just going to line it up with the blower housing. And you may have to lift up on the drum to get the drum to go underneath the rollers. And then we're going to lift it up and put the mounting tabs in the front panel. Now that we have the bulkhead on, we can use the Phillips screwdriver to put the screws in. Now we can plug in the moisture sensor wiring harness. All you gotta do is grab the two ends and plug them together and make sure you get a good connection. Now we can lift up the control assembly so we can put the metal bracket back on. So we're gonna set the control panel aside like we did when we first took it off. And then we have to get the bracket in place. But before we set it down, you want to make sure that you clip the wiring harness in here and plug in the wiring harness for the light bulb. Remember, the black was on the front, the gray wire was on the back. Then we're going to rotate this over and put it onto the cabinet. Once you have it snapped in place, you can use the Phillips screwdriver to put in the screws and hold it on. Now we can put the front panel on. I'm just going to set it onto the two lower mounting brackets and then lift it up into place. And we can reattach the door switch wiring harness. All you have to do is plug it in so you get a good connection. Then we can push the front panel up the rest of the way and hold it. And we use the Phillips screwdriver to put in the screws to hold it on. Once you have the screws in, we're just going to use the screwdriver to push down on the little locking tab. Now that we have the tab bent down, we can open up the dryer door and use the Phillips screwdriver to put in the two screws to hold the front panel to the lid screen housing. Once you have them in, you can close the dryer door. Now we can put the console back in place. I'm just going to carefully lift it up, swing it around. As we swing it around, we're going to put this wiring harness back into the holder. All you have to do is clip it in. Once you have it in the holder, you can reconnect the wiring harness to the control board. All you have to do is plug it in so you get a good connection. Then we can lower the control panel down. You want to make sure you don't hit the control board with the frame as you push it through. Once you have it in place, we can snap in the retaining clips. Then we can use the Phillips screwdriver to put in the screws. When you put the top on, you want to make sure you set it back far enough so the little locking tabs go in front of the notches. Then you can push it forward and lock it on. Once you have it on, we can use the Phillips screwdriver to put in the screws. Now that we have the dryer put back together, you can plug it in and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.